wanted you to know. Here's the third one. The Dallas Cowboys, we know how good their offense has been this year, but their home road splits are really fascinating. Look at these numbers. In their home games this year, 41 points, 441 yards. On the road, you see those numbers fall off substantially. Only once have they scored 30 points on the road this season. And so I have a question about the Cowboys because, look, we all understand Jerry Jones actually had a very good offseason with one enormous exception, right? He brought in George Pickens. He brought in Javonte Williams. He did a lot of really good things. Trading away Micah. If they had Micah Parsons right now, we might be talking about them as a Super Bowl team. Could they make a trade for something on defense that would make them a Super Bowl contender in your eyes right now?
I mean, they should try. I don't know that they can because what they've lost in Micah Parsons was the centerpiece. We talked about Jonathan Taylor being the centerpiece of the Colts offense. They lost that centerpiece of their defense. And finding someone to replace that may improve their defense some, but I'm not sure that it gets them to a level to be legitimate contenders. But the way that they're playing right now on offense, you have to try something.
Maxx Crosby, could they get – the Raiders are terrible. They're going to be terrible for a while. They might as well trade their best player and start rebuilding or all that kind of stuff.
No, you're laughing. Look, it's out there. And here's the deal. He did sign a 3-year extension in March with the new ownership group and the new GM, John Spytek.
That hurts.
All guaranteed money.
There goes my idea.
Yes.
No, but it's been out there because of how bad they are, and they are awful right now. But Maxx Crosby is a cornerstone piece, and I did their game week 2 against the Chargers, and to a man, everyone said he's the first guy in, he's the culture setter. I just can't imagine the Raiders trading Maxx Crosby, although if I'm the Cowboys, I'm calling every hour on the hour, can we get Maxx Crosby?
So the same Cowboys, let me back to them.
Right.
So the same Cowboys
Right.
who traded away their best player,
Yes.
their pass rusher.
Right.
Now you want them to call the Las Vegas Raiders
Right.
to get their best pass rusher?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Because again, every move that Jerry makes doesn't make sense collectively. That's what's so frustrating about them because they had Micah Parsons and they didn't want to re-sign him. I just feel like with the Cowboys, I don't think they're just one move away. And this is not a team that likes to make moves. They clearly, before this offseason, they don't like to make these sort of trade deadline type of
They like
big
to make moves the day before the season.
I
Really
slightly
solid.
disagree.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced they aren't just one player away. That offense is that good, and they just their defense is. And
you think they're one player away? Yes or
well, I
no?
think that they are. They need something that generates some big plays on their defense. They're not going to become a good defense this year. But what they
what is
can
Jerry
do,
supposed to say?
Jerry just came out and said that their best part of their team was being able to rush the passer. So when
I'm not sure what he's watching, but they're really not doing that well.
That's what I'm saying. So it depends on where he thinks he needs to trade for, right? Where does he think do they need to get better in the middle of their defense? So that's the part that you don't trust with Jerry is if he's telling you that already that's where he is.
Contract things aside, if you put Maxx Crosby on that team, I think Eberflus's defense needs a strong defensive line.
For
to be
sure.
good. That improves it. So if you connect this trade with the Micah Parsons trade, and if it does happen, then you end up trading Micah Parsons and say you send a 1 to get Maxx Crosby. You trade Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark and Maxx Crosby. That feels like a more logical way to build a team than what they've done so far. It starts to make Jerry's plan, if there is one, make a little bit more sense.
It would look like it was a plan.
I would have rather had Micah than all this. However, I could see how.
Final word, quick.
They just need the bare minimum on defense.
Right.
Their offense is that good, and you saw when Bland has a pick 6, suddenly it's like, oh, if you get one big play on defense, we can compete.
That's it. Play with your hair on fire. Try and force a couple of turnovers and see if you can get anything done. Much more football as we go. We showed you one basketball game from the other one was unbelievable.
Cowboys Nation, prepare yourselves because we're entering a chapter that could define this season. This isn't your ordinary commentary or casual trade buzz highlight. This is us, as fans, as believers, as the heartbeat behind this franchise, standing at a moment where possibility meets potential. The Dallas Cowboys are not just in the mix anymore. They are positioning themselves. And that's a difference, a major difference. Let's rewind for a moment. The Cowboys entered the season with questions. Their offense, clear strength. Their defense, clearly in transition. And as we sit here at 3-3-1, second in the NFC East, 2-1 in division play, yes, that's progress. But the question has always been, progress toward what? A playoff berth? A deep run? or one day reaching the mountaintop. Because Cowboys Nation knows the mountaintop isn't given, it's earned. With grit, with preparation, with pieces. Here's what we're seeing now, the epicenter of rumor and reality. Maxx Crosby, one of the league's elite pass rushers, a disruptor, a wrecking ball, a guy who takes the edge and bends it into a weapon. And the Cowboys have reportedly called. They've inquired. They've asked, could this be the one? Could this be our move that shifts things from good to threatening? The Cowboys have reportedly inquired about Maxx Crosby. Now hold on, let's dig into what this means, because rumors alone don't win. But when rumors line up with need, ambition, timing, that is when a franchise might surge. Dallas's need is clear. After the departure of Micah Parsons, the edge rusher hole has been glaring. The pass rush has lacked the consistent punch it once had. If you can't get to the quarterback, you don't force the third down stops. If you don't force the 3 and outs, you don't tilt the field. And in the playoffs, tilt is everything. So imagine this scenario. Crosby in a Cowboys uniform. He steps onto the field with the silver star. He lines up opposite the offense thinking, we are going to win. He generates the pressure. He disrupts the rhythm. He makes game-changing plays. Then the offense, with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, gets the ball knowing the defense behind them can hold up. That's not fantasy. That's what contenders look like. That's what the model is. But there's a flip side, and you know it. The Raiders reportedly aren't keen to trade him. Reports state that Las Vegas has reaffirmed its commitment to keeping Crosby. Bleacher Report. The contract, massive. A 3-year, $106.5 million extension signed earlier this year. That tells you value. That tells you stability. It tells you he's not cheap. So Dallas must weigh cost versus reward. Draft picks, salary cap, future flexibility, all part of the calculus. Do you give up assets now to expedite success, or do you build gradually, waiting for the right time? The answer feels urgent now. Here's why timing matters for Cowboys Nation. Because the offense is in full motion. Because Dak is leading. Because the weapons around him are dangerous. They've created an environment where this team should be doing more. We talk about windows opening. This could be that window. If the Cowboys strike before the trade deadline, it sends a message. We believe. We're not waiting. We're attacking. We're in this. On the flip side, if they hesitate, watch out. The league won't wait. Other teams will move. Injuries will strike. Momentum will shift. Those fine margins we talk about will tip the other way. And then what? We'll be left wondering, what if? Cowboys Nation doesn't do what if. We do what now. I want you to consider the ripple effect. If Dallas lands Crosby, pressure rises, offenses adjust, play calling changes. The Cowboys aren't just reacting, they're dictating. And when you dictate, you control football games. You force opponents into mistakes. You get your extra possessions. You win critical moments. You build momentum. Momentum often wins. And here's a thought. Even if they don't get Crosby, the mere inquiry matters. It shows intent. It signals ambition. It changes locker room energy. Teammates see it, opponents hear it, the front office shifts subtly but powerfully. That's itself progress. But let's shoot higher. Let's aim for more. This is a franchise capable of more. And I believe we're on the cusp. So what do you say, Cowboys Nation? Are you ready to push the needle? Are you ready to see your team not just contend, but threaten? Because this trade deadline is not a footnote. It is a front line. And Dallas, they've got the profile of a team that should hit. The question is, will they pull the trigger? Will Jerry Jones, the front office, the coaching staff say yes to greatness rather than maybe to good? Here's what I want from you. In the comments, tell me, do you want Dallas to go all in for Maxx Crosby? What would you give up? A first-round pick? Draft capital? Salary cap flexibility? And how much does landing Crosby change your expectations of this team this season? Are we still talking wild card, or are we now talking title run? If you believe this is the move that flips the season, smash that like button. If you're here for every rumor, every move, every game, subscribe to Cowboys Nation Report now. Invite a friend, get them on board, because with every tick of the clock, the volume gets louder, and we want this ride together. Cowboys Nation, this is our moment. The trade clock is counting down. The front office is active. The league is watching. The star is ready. Will our star wear the star? I believe so. And I believe we're not just watching change, we're making it. See you in the comments. Let's go.